Hi, we're meeting here this afternoon, Tuesday, October 1st at 5 p.m. This is the Safety and Health Committee. John Terwilliger to my left, Brock Heath to my right, and I'm Robin Oda, Committee Chair. We are here to discuss two issues tonight. First of all, public health issue. Patrick, are you presenting this one?
I can. I do want to clarify there is no public health issue.
Okay, funding of the Public Health Department.
This is related to the 2020 contract with the Miami County Public Health Organization, which provides the public health services for Troy and has for decades. Actually, County Health provides services to everybody in Miami County with the exception of Piqua, who has their own health department by their charter. Every year they submit the proposed budget amount, contract amount, which is based on 0.6 mils, which is equal to what the other entities pay that are in the district. The unique part of this is with Troy, we pay that out of our general fund. The other organizations, the other entities, municipalities have, and townships have separate property tax millages that pay for that. So when it comes to us, we use the same calculation, and the amount comes directly out of our general fund. Based on the calculations of the property tax, the assessed value in Troy, the recommendation is an increase of 4% over 2019 funding level to $367,982.63. And that is what we are recommending, that you recommend to council be the 2020 contract. We are not recommending emergency legislation, and I will say that while we have not done a detailed comparison of whether, what it would look like if we had our own health department and broke off from county health, but we're very confident that it would be much more expensive if we were to do things on our own, because we would have to provide an array of services that the health district on a countywide level can do much more cost effectively, such as environmental services, immunizations, nursing care, and other services that they've provided for many, many years.
So I know this is a routine thing, we do it every year. Why, can you just tell me why in 2001 and 2002 we jumped 28% and then 45%?
That would be the in 2001 is when we adopted the millage calculation. Prior to that, we did not have that. It was, I'm not sure what it was based on, but it was more of a random calculation. And so that was the year that we converted to be on an equal level, at least calculation-wise,
Okay.
With everybody else in the county. Subsequent to that, it's purely speculation, but it would be a combination of growth in the community and a property value, and perhaps also a revaluation that caused that to increase by that level.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Yeah, similar question. What's the increase of the 4%? What was the reasoning behind 4? Why not 3 or 5? Where did that come from? What was the reasoning behind the 4% increase?
That's just what the calculation was. So it just equals 4% increase based on, here's what the property assessed value is. Here's what 0.6 mils, 0.4 on an inside mill basis, 0.2 on an outside mill, which is just, it's kind of arbitrary for us. It doesn't really mean that for us except the 0.6 mil level. And when they did the calculation, it equated to a 4% increase over
Just equated that from last
2019.
year. Yep,
Yeah.
perfect, thank you.
Is that true for every community?
No.
Are they based on the same thing?
And not necessarily, because it's based on our property assessed value, which, you know, depending on neighborhoods, depending on communities, the assessed value can change. When you have growth in the community, new houses going in, as well as when you have sales of houses, the assessed value will change, hopefully increase, because when you're selling the house, that becomes the new value against which you're assessed. So there's a lot of factors that go in, but every community is unique.
The 367.9, 4% increase, the increase is paid for out of the general fund. Does that send off any buzzers or bells? Is that an exorbitant amount to be taken from the general?
I'm not sure where else we could take it. We do not have any kind of dedicated property tax millage that goes to offset these costs. It's always been in the general fund. I don't believe that, using any of our enterprise funds or any of our restricted funds would be appropriate. Mr. Frigge could answer that, our auditor would answer that. I'm sure if there was some ability to distribute those costs across different funds, we would have done it 20 years ago.
Okay.
Any other questions? Bobby?
Just more of a statement. I'm sure that most everyone in this room that owns personal property got a new bill from our assessor, and that showed a fairly significant increase on my property, and I'm sure that everybody else's was based about the same, which would, extrapolating out figures, would probably come to where this millage amount is based on. And as some folks have come into this body and indicated that their property values are going to be going down because of X, Y, and Z, that kind of shoots them in the foot on that type of statement. So this is my observation of what it's coming from.
Any other questions or comments? Committee?
Yeah, move
You're
forward.
good?
Move forward.
We'll move forward. And move on to number 2 before this committee regarding a C2 liquor permit application for Troy Meat Market. Patrick,
Sure.
you're taking the lead on this one too.
I am. This is a liquor permit application that was filed for 503 Garfield Avenue. The applicant was Connor Herron. Connor is also building and soon to open, hopefully, the new meat market downtown. He's actually filed several permits. There's only one to be considered tonight because the other ones, our understanding is that they're not available permits yet. So Mr. Kerber has advised that we only address this one. As is routine, when we get these applications, they go to the police department for review, and what they do is they look at historic records, any potential issues that they've seen, given some history. They did not feel comfortable with checking off the box on the application that said they had no issues, and so what they've recommended to us is that this application, that the council recommend that the Ohio Liquor Control Board hold a hearing here in Troy on this application before they make any decision one way or the other.
So the hearing is held here in Troy.
They would hold it in this area here, yes.
And does the state liquor board come here to
They
do that hearing?
That's my understanding.
And who else is involved in that?
I believe it's, do we have testimony or?
Grant Kerber, City Law Director. The first step is it's actually not the board itself, but the state sends over an individual hearing officer, and that would be held I mean, the last time was in the basement of this building. It's been held at the law library at the courthouse before, so they usually arrange for it. And then essentially, the hearing officer gives everybody an opportunity to present information to make it, and then makes a written decision after that. And that decision, it can be appealed to the Liquor Control Board in Columbus.
We are, before you get into questions, there is a tight time frame here, as there usually is with the state, so we are asking for consideration of emergency legislation, whichever way you decide to move forward.
Questions?
Yeah, I think this is just asking that we recommend, or we request a hearing. We're not approving or
Right.
recommending it, so
But no further questions?
I think we're good.
Good.
Other council members, people?
Man, thank you. Do we have any documentation as to why this objection to be viewed by this body or any of the council people?
We can share yes, we can share documentation with you, sure.
And is it necessary to enact legislation for the liquor control folks to come into town to hold that hearing?
Yeah, I believe that's required. There's a requirement.
Okay, that's all I have, thank you.
Anybody else? Then we are requesting a hearing
With emergency.
with emergency, yes.
All right.
And that is all we have at this time. We are